Oh, Shalom, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome back, man. What's up? Welcome back, everybody. What's the business? I know I've been off for a couple of days. I've been working and had other things going on, but we back into it today. Or let's get back into it today. Let's try to build it back up. We messed up the consistency. But it's all gravy. Welcome back to Rise and Scripts. Rise and Scripts. There we go. We can do it like that. That's a little brighter. All right, man. We're back at it today with Rise and Scripts. We're gonna read First Maccabees. We're about to jump into First Maccabees this morning. Today. As long as you have breath to breathe, then you have all you need to succeed. So let's succeed. Let's succeed, man. I've been carving, painting. I haven't been getting up at this time because I've been up late painting and carving. So, but now that that section of work is done, it's time to get back into the other things. Reading with Shiloh, Rise and Scripts, man. So let's get back into the Apocrypha. We're going to try to finish up in the Apocrypha. We still have about 6 books left to finish in the Apocrypha. First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, First Esdras, Second Esdras, Tobit, Judith, 7, and the rest of Esther. We still have those to read. But First Esdras, Second Esdras, Tobit, Judith, and the rest of Esther, all those are the beginning of the book. But it's all gravy. Man, when you come in, for all those that do come in, man, say something in the chat, man. Let me know the chat working. That's all I want. You can do a like if you like, comment, subscribe if you want. But I'm not really here for that right now this morning. I'm not worried about it. I just want to do the chat working. What's up, Shalom, my son? What you doing up, man? I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I thought I left you sleep, man. How you feeling? Good. All right. I love you. Love you. You can't find me. All right. Yeah, go get back in the bed then. I'm going to read. All right. Thought I left him sleep. He woke up, came, found me. Anyway, let's get to Rise and Scripts this morning. Let's get to Rise and Scripts. It's been a minute, man. So let's go through the books of the Bible, man. All praises. Let's start off with the books of the Bible. No matter what book or, I follow the God of the Bible. No matter, so because I follow that, then I need to read his and search his Facebook out, search out his face within the book that's available for me, which is the Bible, the Apocrypha included. No matter what God you serve, man, read your books, whatever they are. Read your books. Follow what you find out what you're supposed to be following. You need to do so. It's a part of studying to show yourself approved in whatever religion you are, or whatever you follow. No matter what it is, you need to read your shit. You need to study your shit. with your children, you know, in your spare time, in your leisure. That's when you're gonna find the wisdom, as it says in Sirach. So we're gonna start off with the baby stuff, though. The baby stuff is not really baby stuff for everybody, but you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So knowing your book. So let's start off with the books of the Bible. Not everybody knows the books of the Bible, which is cool, fine, but you should know them. You should know them. You should not just rely on just your pastor. You know, whatever it is, you need to know it. Whether it's the soil, livestock, you need to know your stuff. You need to know your stuff, whatever it is. There are things, there are rules, there are regulations, there are certain guidelines you have to go by. Learn them, apply them, and show your increase. See your increase. And we're gonna go with the books of the Bible first. How many do you know? Now, this is some vacation Bible school stuff, but you should know your books of the Bible. How many do you know without looking? I'm gonna try. I've almost got it all down again. I'm gonna look a couple of times. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, First Esdras, which is an apocrypha, Second Esdras, Tobit, Judith, the rest of Esther, the Wisdom of Solomon, the Book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, Baruch, the Song of the Three Holy Children, the history of the history of Susanna, the history of the destruction of Baal and the dragon, the prayer of Manasseh, First Maccabees, which we're going to read into, Second Maccabees, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, First Corinthians, Second Corinthians, I gotta look, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Galatians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, First Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians, First Timothy, Second Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, First Peter, Second Peter, First John, Second John, Third John, Jude, and Revelations. And those are the books of the Bible. Those were the books of the Bible. We're gonna start there, but we're in practice makes perfect. Saying them in here does help, or saying them at the beginning of the reading, whether it be the rising scripts or the Sabbath reading, does help. There are the books of the Bible. The book of Jasher. Some people add the book of Enoch into it. There's other books that's within the Bible as well. But we're going to jump into the book of First Maccabees, which are in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is found in between Malachi and Matthew. It bridges the gap between the Old and the New Testament, so you can understand what happened and how they even got to the New Testament. Maccabees tells a lot about that. Book of First Maccabees tells a lot about that. So what we're going to do in Rising Scripts is seek. We're going to seek and see what we can find, baby, and read. We just here to read. That's all Rising Scripts is reading. That's all we do. We're going to read First Maccabees chapter 1 through 3. Oh, man. Let's get it. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1. And it happened that after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. And they're talking about Alexander the Great, or who is considered Alexander the Great. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, so much that the earth was quieted before him, and whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule over every one of his in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, and so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. And in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Now when the kingdom was established by Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion over 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. And thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem, and with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. If anybody had been following me with the Sabbath readings, a lot of this stuff that they're talking about was stuff that were put back, but stuff that King David had put up for Solomon to build the temple with. Verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. He spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed very much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. And the women and children took they captive, and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare. And it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled before because of them. And whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like the wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mournings, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath, which they still do today. They still do this today. They consent to the king's religion and turn this feast into, they profane the Sabbath, and they sacrifice unto idols. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange law of the land, and forbade burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and the festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, which they still do today. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for secure. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law of the king's commandment, was that they should put him to death. Thus did they, by their authority unto the Israelites, every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. And wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. Chapter 2. Shalom. Let's pause and see. Okay, I'll keep going. Chapter 2. In those days arose Mattathias. This is my boy right there, Mattathias. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jorib, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Caddis, Simon, called Thasi, Judas, who was called Maccabees, Eleazar, called Avaron, and Jonathan, whose surname was Apaphus. And when he saw the blasphemy that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, Woe is me, and wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people, and of the holy city, and to dwell there? And when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers, her temple is become as a man without glory, and her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom, and gotten of her spoil? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she is become a bond slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his son rent their clothes, and put on sackcloth, and mourned very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's office, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers, and said to Mattathias on this wise, Thou art a ruler, and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first, and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain in Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. That part right there sound like in 300, when old boy came to Leonidas, and he was like, This is Sparta! Kick that nigga in the hole. Boy, they try to talk sweet to Mattathias. Don't listen, Mattathias. Don't do it. Hold strong, Mattathias. Then Mattathias answered and spake in a loud voice, Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from their religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinance. We will not hearken to the king's words, to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. In which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled, and neither could he forbear to shew his anger according to judgment, and wherefore he ran and slew him upon that altar. Get that bitch! You mother... Get him, Mattathias. Get his ass. This sorry sucker want to sacrifice on the altar? What my sword? That's all I was looking for. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled, and neither could he forbear to shew his anger according to judgment. And wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. You dusty foot. Also, the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time. And the altar were pulled, and the altar he pulled down. Pull that shit down. You know, profane the altar. Putting that swine's flesh on my, nobody want that pork on my altar. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri and the son of Solomon. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there. And both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now when it was told the king's servant and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. They knew the law. You're not supposed to do any work on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice, and come forth, and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit, they answered them not, and neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, let us die all in our innocency. Heaven and earth shall testify for us that he put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, if we also do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. And at that time, therefore they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him, neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. And also all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. So they joined their forces, and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for secure. Oh, you going over there? We'll get your ass over. I'm gonna kill you too. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. And what children soever were they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. Cut your meat. He did what Abraham did. Go ahead, man. Damn, I need to mark that. Just like Abraham. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. Abraham. Like Abraham. Let me mark it too. There was another verse I read that was stood out. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hands. And so they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings, and neither suffered they the sinners to triumph. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous of the law, and give your lives for the covenant of our fathers. Call to remembrance what acts of our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in his time, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phineas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of the everlasting priesthood. And Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. That Jesus is Sirach. That Jesus is not the so-called Jesus of the New Testament. And Caleb, forbearing, because it's going in order. It's going in order. And Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. And David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting covenant. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael, by believing, were saved out of the fire. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, as their real names. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. His glory shall be shit and worms, dung and worms. Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. As for Judas Maccabees, he hath been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain, and fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them, and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in the 146th year, and his sons buried him in the sepulchres of his fathers at Modin. And all Israel made great lamentation for him. Great man, Mattathias, great man. Chapter 3. Then his son Judas, called Maccabees, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him. And so did all they that held with his father. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So he gat his people great honor, and put on the breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. And in his acts he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. For he pursued the wicked, and sought them out, and burned up those that vexed his people. And wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him. And all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was renowned unto the utmost part of the earth. and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together, and a great host out of Samaria to fight against Israel. Which thing when Judah perceived, he went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down, slain, but the rest fled. And wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius' sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long. Now when Seron, the prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment. So he made him ready to go up, and there went he with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. And when he came near to the going up of Beth Horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who, when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day? Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the God of heaven it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of the host, but strength cometh from heaven. Then they come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children, and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws, and wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our faces. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. Now as soon as he had left off speaking, he leapt suddenly upon them. And so Seron and his hosts were overthrown before him, and they pursued them from the going down of Beth Horon unto the plain, and where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them, insomuch as his fame came unto the king. And all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was filled with indignation, and wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure, and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. And nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes of the country were small because of the dissension and plagues, which he had brought upon the land in taking away the laws which had been of old time, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charge any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he had done before. For he had abounded above the kings that were before him, and wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, and therefore to take the tributes of the countries, and to gather much money. So he left Lysias, a nobleman, and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, and also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem, to wit, that he should send an army against them to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away their memorial from that place. and that he should place strangers in all the quarters and divide their land by lot. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch, his royal city. And let me see, did I mark that? Did I mark Antioch? I need to mark that. Because that's what he was called, nigger first, in Antioch. I forget what verse it is, though. I think it's in Luke. Where the prophets was called nigger in Antioch. Let me mark that too. They were called nigger in Antioch. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch, his royal city, the 147th year. And having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy, the son of Doramenes, and Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel as slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and to utterly abolish them, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. Then the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of their children that went in or out. And the sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Massah over against Jerusalem. For in Massah was a place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. They brought also the priest's garments and the first fruits and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward the heathen, saying, what shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? And for thy sanctuary was trodden down and profaned, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest. How shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help? Thou then sounded with trumpets. Then, where was I? Then, there we go, 54. Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. and then cried with a loud voice. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands and over hundreds and over fifties and over tens. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, and were planting vineyards, and were fearful, those he commanded that they should return, every man to his own house, according to the law. So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emmaus. And Judah said, arm yourselves and be valiant men, and see that ye be in readiness against the morning, that ye may fight with the nations, with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary. For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people and our sanctuary. Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do. And that was 1 Maccabees chapters 1 through 3. I'm trying not to blow it loud while my son's still asleep too. Because they might get up and come back here. You blowing the trumpet, Daddy? There we go. That was good enough. Maccabees. Ooh, warriors. I like that shit. Warriors. Warriors. Keep going, huh? How long is it? 47 minutes, about an hour. I can read one more. We go to chapter 4. We can read chapter 4. We can read chapter 4. Let me pause. Let me see what people are saying first. And before I read chapter 4. You sound like Lawrence Fishburne. I like that. Thank you. I don't think so, but thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it. I imagine if we were to uncover religious texts in archaeology in modern times, it may be hard to add a book. Gone are the days of the Church of England, the Holy Roman Empire, and religious standards. That's a problem. The Bible was never about the Roman Empire, the Roman Church. They the ones that came in and like they said, they opened the books of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint their images. They the ones did that shit. In this text, they made themselves. You just got to read this shit. It's not hard. They do have run-on sentences sometimes, but it's not hard. It's just how people, a lot of times it's how people read it. They don't put the pauses. They don't pause. They don't pause good enough. And sometimes I'm guilty of it as well. When trying to read too fast, they don't pause in where the commas are. They don't pause where the commas are. They don't pause where the semicolons are. So I'm guilty of it too. All right. We'll do one more. Chapter 4. We'll do one more. I'm going to adjust which was what I was meant to do in the first place. I was really meant to read 1 through 4, but I was like, look at the time. Chapter 4, 1 Maccabees. Let me see. I might have to. I'll get it if I have to. Chapter 4. Then took Gorgias 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night, to the end that he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army which was at Emmaus, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. In the mean season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Judas, and when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains. For said he, these fellows flee from us. But as soon as it was day, Judas shewed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their minds. And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were expert of war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day, that so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivered and saveth Israel. Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. They were with Judas, sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the battle began. And the heathens began being discomforted, fled into the plains. And howbeit all the most of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them unto Gezerah, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus, and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them upon 3,000 men. And this done, Judas returned again with the host from pursuing them, and said to the people, be not greedy of the spoils, inasmuch as there is a battle before us. Hey, don't take all that shit. We still got some more fighting to do. Don't take all that shit. We'll come back for that. And ain't nobody gonna take that. They know who I am, Judas. And Gorgias and his hosts are here by us in the mountains. But stand ye now against our enemies and overcome them, and after this ye may boldly take the spoils. As Judas was yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountains. Look at them, they didn't go right out. Get them. Oh, Lord. Who, when they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight and were burning the tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. When therefore they perceived these things, they were sore afraid, and seeing also the host of Judas in the plain ready to fight, they fled every one into the land of the strangers. Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver and blue silk and purple of the sea and great riches. And after this they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endureth forever. Oh, damn, this is my son's P verse. Praise ye the Lord, For it is good to sing praises unto our God. I need to remember that. What verse is that, man? The P verse. Praise ye the Lord, for it is good to sing praises unto our God. Let me see. Praise ye the Lord, for it is good to sing praises unto our God. Bible verse. Psalms 147 and 1. Psalms 147 and 1. Psalms 147, 1. After this, they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endureth forever. That sounds just like Psalms 147:1. For it is good. Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened. Oh, Lysias, you won't believe this. Oh, Judah's got us, man. They burned everything. They killed 3,000 men. Oh, Lord, man, this boy cold. Oh, this boy cold. He cold as ice. And them people, they left on us. We ran for everything, man. I barely got away. Who, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged. Shit. Damn that Judas. I can see it in my mind. God damn it. I hate that nigga. I hate him. Throwing shit down. Oh, man. Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now, all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened. And who, when he heard thereof, he was confounded and discouraged, because neither such thing as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the king commanded him were come to pass. The next year, therefore, following Lysias, gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot, and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents in Bethsura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of thy servant David, and gavest the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer. Ooh, that's a good story too, right there. That's a good one too. Another good whipping boys. I like that. Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas's soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly. Man, my bad. It's making me think of the other book I'm reading. It's making me think of damn, Toussaint Louverture, and how when they fought in the insurrections, it was to die. They was gonna die for that, and it's the same way they made the British and the Spanish to run because of their manliness, and they eager. We gonna die here. Hey, we living or we dying today. Now, when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas's soldiers, and how they that were ready either to live or die valiantly, they went to Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again into Judea. Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary. Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and the shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest or in one of the mountains, yea, the priest's chambers were pulled down. They rent their clothes and made great lamentations and cast ashes upon their heads and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces and blew an alarm with the trumpets and cried towards heaven. Ah, the temple. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, why? That's our fault, because we sinned against you, Lord. That's why. And they fell flat on and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces and blew an alarm with the trumpets and cried towards heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until they had cleansed the sanctuary. And so he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleanse the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones into an unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profaned, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down and laid up the stones in the mountains of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show them what to be done with them. Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to the former, and made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. And they made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick, and the altar of burnt offerings, and of incense, and the table. And upon the altar they burnt incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, that they might give light in the temple. And furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now, on the 5th and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. And then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days. This is the Feast of Dedication they're talking about, which comes around Christmas time. The Solstice Christmas time. This is when the Feast of Dedication happens. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates of the chambers they renewed, and hanged the doors upon them. And thus was there very great gladness amongst the people, and for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year, by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness. You're supposed to remember this. Remember the battles that Judas did. Remember all the stuff that they did to take out the reproach, to remove the fouled stones and altars and sacrificing places from out of the temple, and rebuilt a new one. And they sung and sacrificed for 8 days in the month of Caslu, the 9th month, the 25th day of Caslu. And at that time also they builded up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down, as they had done before. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethshura to preserve it, and that the people might have a defense against Idumea. And that was chapter 4. That was First Maccabees chapters 1 through 4. Oh man. Judas Maccabees matter. It started with his daddy. And then Judas was stunting like his daddy too. Stunting like my daddy. Stunting like... See Judas did what it says in Sirach. Let me see if I can find it right quick. In Sirach, it'll be about how even though the father died, it will be as if though he didn't die, because your son will be just like you. You leave an avenger after you. Judas was the avenger that was left by Mattathias, and he did the damn thing. Judas did his damn thing. Let me see if I can find it right quick. I think it's in chapter 25. Nope, it's not in 25. I know it's on this side though. Where is it? Where is it? Let be as if thou hast not left. Teaching your children counsel. Let me look it up. Verse in the Apocrypha about your son being an avenger. Sirach 30. Let me see if it's 30. 35. I was in 30. I just saw 30. There we go. It is. I need to mark it. I didn't mark it. That's why. And I was right. It was on this side of the page. I was correct. I knew it was on that side of the page. The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 1. I'm gonna read verse 1 through 6. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, and that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, which is what Mattathias did. They was afraid of that boy. And before his friends shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind him that is like himself. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. Man, that's what Mattathias did. Judas did the same. Judas showed himself to be an avenger. You know, man, you just like your daddy. You know, hey, that was a good thing to be said of a righteous man, to be just like your daddy. Your daddy was righteous. You were righteous. That's like with Abraham, when the Most High called Abraham a friend, because he said, I know Abraham will command his house. I know that Abraham will command his house. Just like Mattathias did. Mattathias commanded his house in a certain type of way and left a certain type of example. He gave the guidance before he died. Man, Simon, he the wise man. He gonna be like a father to you. Follow him always. Judas, he been strong from his youth up. Let him be the captain and fight the battles for you. Judas did that. They did that, or they were doing that up until this point, and they had great success up until this point. That has been rise in scripts, and even though I'll have to go amend the description, since we read chapters 1 through 4 instead of chapters 1 through 3. But man, that is one of the best stories, man, for me. One of the stories that I love those stories. I like a good battle, man. I like a good fight. I like a good fighting scene. A good, this would be, I'm pretty, they make movies based upon stuff that's written in the Bible, and this would be a great battle scene, man. A great battle scene. I would love to see Mattathias jump up there and kill that boy for trying to go put some poke on the grill. Ain't no poke going on my grill, sucker. Ah! And you too, Commissioner. Ah! Poke. Nobody want that poke. Get back, bitch. Nobody want that poke. It's only clean stuff going on my grill. Lamb, beef, chicken, deer. Clean. Only clean animals. Only what the Most High said is clean. You can find that in Leviticus 11. Which is still considered the same today. There's a difference. You got unclean meats and you got clean meats. You only want to deal with the clean shit. But people want to be like they were in the Maccabees and try to defile themselves with unclean shit. They defile the sanctuary. They profane themselves with unclean meats. They ain't defile themselves. They profane themselves. Let me make sure. Let me see what they said. I could use them words. Let me use they words. They set up altars, groves, chapels, idols, and sacrificed swine's flesh and unclean beasts. forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and the festival days and pollute the sanctuary. They polluted themselves. They were polluting themselves along with the sanctuary, which they still do today, pollute themselves. For those who say they follow behind the Bible or follow behind the God of the Bible, the God of Israel. Hey, but that was the Maccabees, man. That was Rising Scripts. Great reading today. I think I read decent. I got to get back into it. I blew the trumpet decently. Oh, man. I was fucking up. Oh, I was messing up, baby. But it is what it is. Hey, man. Rise and Scripts, man. Good one in the first Maccabees. We'll keep going. First Maccabees has 15 chapters. 16 chapters. So if I keep going this way about 4 days, as long as I don't miss no days, about 4 days, we'll be finished with first Maccabees. I read 4 chapters a day. We'll be finished with first Maccabees. And their chapters are longer than in Sirach. We could run through them. But that was the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha we found in between Malachi and Matthew once again. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I appreciate all the good comments, all the thoughtful comments. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Shit, I'm gonna cut this shit off. Might go let my chickens out. And then I'll come back and read this morning. We'll pick back up since I mentioned old Mr. Toussaint. We'll come back in just a minute. I'll get off of this and do a live. Go get me some nectarines and come back and we'll read for another hour and pick back up and read with Shiloh with the Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James, the Toussaint Louverture and the San Domingo Revolution. We'll pick back up in chapter 13 so we can go ahead and try to finish off. Well, it's not going to finish off, but we get closer to finishing off the book. I've been waiting long enough. I've been putting off because of my carvings and other things I've been putting off. We still got about 50 pages, 55 pages. We still got about 55 pages to read and to finish off with chapter 13. And then we'll come back after chapter 13, read the appendix, and then we'll be done with the book. We'll be done with the book and we can move on to the next book. So catch me on Reading with Shiloh in a little bit, and catch me tomorrow morning. I'll try to get up early again. So we can do Rising Scripts again, and we'll pick up in chapter 5 of First Maccabees, and we'll probably read from 5 to let's see, 5, 6, 7. I guess we'll read 5 through 8. Stop at chapter 9. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. Let's put that down. Yep. Shalom, everybody. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I hope y'all day has started wonderfully. Remember, as long as you have breath to breathe, then you have all you need to succeed. As long as you have breath to breathe, you have all you need to succeed. Our objective is to succeed. So let's succeed. And no matter what we do, let's succeed, man. Let's succeed at it. Succeed at small and work our way up to succeeding at big. And we succeeded with the reading today. Rising Scripts. Till next time. Shalom. Shalom out. I'm out here, baby.